Is the 4-star racist sphere from Leo good for her on release? Good for who? Sandrone is not a polearm character. Oh, wait! There's a Claymore, too, I forgot. You're right, Lithic Blade exists. Oh, I forgot about Lithic. Wait, is Lithic Blade the goated? Oh, wait a fucking second. I forgot that weapon existed. Holy shit. Wait, you might be cooking. Because it gives attack and crit, right? It doesn't give any damage per se. These are all useful stats. So if you're using Chi-Chi, especially if you don't have EI and you're also using Beto, especially if you have Refines on this, like R5 of this, 14 crit rate, 22% attack from the passive. That's pretty fucking good, yeah. That being said, though, the reality is that, like, 1.x weapons just are not as good as more recent weapons. Right? Like, this is not Sacrificer staff level of very good. I'm pretty sure R1 is straight up just worse than Mailed Flower, even with 2 Leo characters. I can check it, actually. Should be here, or not Mailed Flower. Mailed Flower or Title Shadow, actually. Let's take a look at this one, I guess.
They're easy to carry with you, and with so many sauces.
So this was Mailed Flower. Let's check Tidal Shadow. 48, 41.3. Lose the 206 EM. Oh, Tidal Shadow's better in this team. Cooked. I should update it here then. It makes sense. I forgot I'm giving Diona EM. 48. 41.3. 510. No EM. Okay. And Lithic. Oh, but this team obviously doesn't have Beto. Fuck. Okay, I don't think I have an updated, like, latest version team with Chi-Chi and Beto in this anywhere. So I'll just pretend like we have 2 stacks. So first we look at 1 stack. R1. That's just dog shit, yeah. 1 stack R5 is 5% worse than Mailed Flower. 2 stacks R5 is 3% better. So I would assume that it needs like R4 to be better. At R3 it's probably worse. If I change this to 18 and 10. Yeah. At R3 it's worse. At R4 it's better if you have 2. But yeah, like it's definitely not worth intentionally playing a worse team to enable the stacks. But if your best Sandrone team just so happens to have 2 stacks for it, it is slightly better than Mailed Flower. So that's cool, I guess. Yeah. Like, these weapons are weird. Because, like, if you have this full stack at R5, it's fucking insane. Just gotta get, it's a 10% increase from C2 to C3 for Maoika. Yeah, that makes sense. Because, like, usually talents are, like, 20, like, 50. How much is it again? The default increase from a C3 on a character that does all their damage from 1 talent? It's 18? I remember it was, like, somewhere between 15 and 20. I think there's some talents that don't have the same scaling, but it's like generally the same. It's 18, yeah. So it's usually 18, but because Maoika's damage is like distributed between 2 different talents, and because our Sandronicon's really that bad, when I go for C6, she's in my top 3 characters, but I don't want to waste stuff on really bad cons. I mean, if you want to go for C6 because you like her and you want to have a whale Sandrone, that's a bad idea. If you want to have a whale Sandrone, getting Sandrone with, like, C2 R1 of everything with the premium supports that will be coming out in Shesnaya is going to be significantly stronger than going for C6 Sandrone. But if you want to go for C6 Sandrone because you like the feeling of owning a C6 character, then, like, obviously that doesn't... Yeah. But yeah, her team's vertical investment is likely going to be better to go for support cons than cons on her. Cause yeah, her cons are just really bad. Her cons are not good now. Right, like, her cons are so bad that, like, on release, C6 Risley with an AFK Sandrone on the team is better than C6 Sandrone in her full premium. That's more so Risley's cons in Stellar being very good. But, like, yeah. Even worse cons than Lohan? No. Well, kind of. The thing with Lohan is, like, the reason why his cons aren't that good is because he's not that much of the team's damage. Sandrone is a large portion of the team's damage, much larger than Lohan. It's just that the numbers increases on the cons are kind of bad because they fucked up her design. Or, like, I've talked about this many times already. I'll talk about it more today when I record the pre-release. Her C1 is, like, they had an idea for her, right? Of, like, having to manage the heat bar and make sure you don't overheat. And, like, having to weave in some skills and some swaps to make sure you don't overheat. And then they just made her skill 4-second cooldown, which is the amount of time it takes to do a charge attack. Like, to fill from 0 to full on the heat bar. Which means you can just charge attack E, charge attack E, charge attack E, and repeat over and over. And there's no actual reason to ever swap out. And the purpose of increasing or the decoding power at a lower rate, right, of overheating slower, would be that you can stay on her longer before having to swap out. But they, like, forgot to make her need to swap out. So this aspect of the C1 does nothing, right? Because you don't have to E as often, but, like, you don't mind having to E. It's fine. It's really not that much of a DPS loss. Yeah, one thing I'll say is, like, if they didn't fuck up her design, this C1 would have been cringe because it would make her less interesting. But they made her not interesting at C0 already, so the C1 isn't cringe. It's just double... It's just, like... Yeah. But yeah, so, like, basically all this does, like, technically, you might get, like, one more charge attack beam instead of a skill or some shit. Like, so it's, like, a tiny little bit more motion value, but it's not much. But, like, the main thing that this is just 30 stellar damage. But, like, EIC1 is 50, right? So, like, this is bad. Like, what the fuck? C2, right? I mean, that's fine, I guess. Like, at C2, how many hits does she get before she has to E? Is it 6? Or is it more than that? Like, from the C1? Any knowers? It's 6? Okay. But yeah, so, like, you get 6 hits. So it's 40 on the first one. Then 60. Then 80. Then 100. And it's 100 for the next 3. Right? So you get 80% average crit damage. Which isn't bad. You know? Her CV goes up by 80%. Which is a 28% increase. But yeah, like, the 28% is, it is good. Right, like, the C2 is good, but the problem is that it's not like she's not a hyper carry. Right? So, a 28% increase on her is not a 28% increase to the team, it's like a 20% increase to the team. It's not 20, it's 20. 28% is not it's not actually 28, it's 20. But yeah, so it's like a 20% increase to the team-ish, but the problem is that, like, the C1 is bad, right? So, you're getting an okay C1, or C2, after a bad C1. So it's just, like, whatever, right? But, like, the C3 is about as good as the C2. No, that's not true. It's not. I forgot her burst does damage. The C3 is a little bit worse. C4, what does this shit even do again? Is this motion value or Quill? Probably motion value, right? 125% of her attack every 4 seconds. It's 1 per charge attack? No. It's like 2 per charge attack. Kind of? Ish. It's a little weird, right? You get like 3 of these. Actually, you might get 4 of these. You probably do get 4 of these, right? Because this should work on the burst. If it works on the burst, you'll get 4 of these. In the 3 charge attack, 1 burst rotation. Or in the 4 charge attack rotation. Well, I guess it would be 2 charge attack with, anyways. Yeah, so this is like 500 extra motion value in your rotation. When you're starting from, what, 150? I guess it's, at that point, it would be like 195 times 9's like 1800 plus 800. It's like 26-ish hundred plus 500. It's like another a little bit less than, yeah. So it's like probably about as good as a C3 for damage. Similar amount. It's like okay. C5 is like it's fine, right? And C6, I don't actually know how good the C6 is. It's probably pretty solid, but not like incredibly broken. Her charge attack elemental app is on a Seguini burst. Okay, it's not that bad. It's not like Seguini burst, okay? It's not that bad. Let's calm the fuck down.